say, Parker? Hell yeah. Do I look cool?
Yeah, you look like James Bond.
Which one?
5.
Well, that was a good one. Just think of how many terrible decisions we have to make to get to this moment in time.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 action comedy, The Outlaws. The film is directed by Tyler Spindell and it stars Adam Devine, Pierce Brosnan, Ellen Barkin, Nina Dobrev and Michael Rooker. Now the film follows Adam Devine's character Owen and Nina Dobrev's character Parker. They are engaged to be married. However, Adam Devine's character Owen has never met his bride-to-be's parents. He's been told that they kind of live abroad and work abroad, and there's just opportunity to see him has never come up. But he finds out that he's actually going to meet her in-laws prior to the wedding, and they turn out to be Pierce Brosnan and Ellen Barkin's character Billy and Lily, who also turn out to be infamous bank robbers. And Owen is a bank manager. This all culminates with his bank getting robbed by his in-laws. He becomes suspicious that they're involved. The FBI get involved. It all gets a little bit messy. And they've all kind of got to work together in order to solve a problem. Right. What are my thoughts on The Outlaws? Well, I did see the trailer for this one a couple of months ago. I thought it looked okay. I think sometimes some of the Netflix comedies, some of them can be fairly watchable, I've never really found that they've knocked a comedy out of the park, really. The Adam Sandler stuff, I'm a big fan of Adam Sandler, and I like some of the stuff he's done on Netflix, and some of the other stuff they do, but I just never really feel as though they've really nailed a comedy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Adam Sandler one that he did with the basketball player, you could argue was more of a drama than a comedy, but I certainly enjoyed that one. But I did, when I saw the trailer, I thought, well, I'm going to watch this because I have Netflix, and it's, it's something to watch on an evening with my wife, when we like a good comedy sort of thing. And after watching this, the best compliment I can give this film is it's fine, I suppose. It's watchable. It doesn't make you cross. It doesn't make you angry. It's not horrifically bad or anything. It's not poorly made. It's not one of those films that's really going to make you want to kick the cat around the room. It's just, there's nothing offensively bad about it, but at the same time, there's nothing to really recommend about it either. Well, not overly anyway. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Adam Devine's comedy stylings. I watched another film he did on Netflix, I think, was it called Game Over? And I find his comedy to be a little juvenile. It just doesn't click with me, I think. But comedy's subjective. You might really like Adam Devine, in which case you may enjoy this film a little bit more than I did. I personally find his comedy stylings a little bit challenging. But the concept here is sound. I didn't buy the fact that, he was going to marry, Nina Dobrev's character because he was such a dweeb and such a nerd sort of thing. There was no chemistry then. It just didn't seem like they had the same interests or anything. It just seemed like an odd combo. It seemed like they just created this scenario just to pry the Pierce Brosnan and Ellen Barkin characters into the film, who were quite easily the highlight of this film. Pierce Brosnan and Ellen Barkin. Every time they were on screen, the film brightened up. It was much more enjoyable. Also, Julie Haggerty as well, who plays Adam Devine's mother, and Richard Kind, who plays his father. For me, every time the veteran actors and actresses were on screen, the film went up a level a little bit. Every time they were off screen, and the film focused more on Adam Devine, I started losing a little bit of interest. But the story's fine, the concept's fine, the in-laws, or the outlaws, if you get the title, of Pierce Brosnan and Ellen Barkin being these famous bank robbers, worked quite well. I liked the fact that, Pierce Brosnan was kind of doing his natural Irish accent, which is you don't hear often in his films. The film occasionally tips its hat to his role as James Bond, which I thought was nice. And at times, the film does genuinely make you chuckle. There are a couple of laughs to be had here and there. It's not one of those belly laugh movies. There's no real gross out comedy. It's adult comedy because there's plenty of swearing and stuff in it. It's not a comedy I'd recommend for the family. It is a little bit more mature and grown up as a comedy. And it's also kind of full of characters that the film doesn't need. It feels at times they've kind of fleshed this film out with characters that the film just didn't get anything from. You know what I mean? Like Adam Devine's colleagues at work and things like that, or his family members who were meant to be quirky and odd and weird. And again, they just didn't really add anything to the film. So I think if they'd have, been a bit smarter with the writing and focused a little bit more on some of the other characters, especially Adam Devine's character, because unless you're a real fan of him and his comedy, I can't imagine anybody watching this film and coming away being a fan of his. It was a little bit grating, his performance and his style of comedy. It's, and it feels a bit cringy when you see him in scenes with the likes of Ellen Barkin and Pierce Brosnan, like sparring with them, and they're clearly outshining him. But there was nice chemistry between Pierce Brosnan and Ellen Barkin. They were definitely given plenty to do in this film, and they certainly shined in this film. Everybody else really came off as second best, apart from the Julie Haggerty and the Richard Kind, mother and father of Adam Devine. They had some fun moments as well. And to be fair, Michael Rooker had some decent moments too. He's always watchable generally, and he plays like the FBI agent that is trying to track down these bank robbers, and he becomes intrinsically involved into the plot of the film later on too. So as a Netflix comedy, this is certainly watchable. I think it's one of those that's going to divide audiences. I think most people will be kind of like, that's all right. The action, when you get it, it's decent to watch, and there are some fun moments there. But it's not what you would call a full-on action comedy or anything. It's just you get some decent action late in the film. But it's fairly middle of the road type comedy. It's not offensively bad or anything, but it's also not a film that you're going to walk away from chuckling, telling all your mates at work tomorrow what a brilliant comedy I just watched last night. It is definitely nothing to write home about. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please click the like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And don't forget, I will of course be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.